Bull up, grab the fuel nozzle, and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of the Truck Stops Here, brought to you by Natso. Now, here are your hosts, Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.
Hello. Welcome to today's episode of the Truck Stops Here. This is your host, Amy Toner, and I'm here with my co-host, Darren Schulte. Hi, Darren.
Hi, Amy.
You are listening to the Truck Stops Here, Natso's podcast. Today, we are delighted to have technology expert BT Mack on as our guest. BT Mack is a new Natso member that specializes in that technology infrastructure. We have Larry Welch and Mason Powers with us. Welcome, Larry and Mason.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Darren. Happy to be here.
You know, before we get into the questions, why don't you guys just tell us a bit about your company?
Yeah, okay, happy to. I think I'll defer to Larry, the CEO and founder, for a bit, and I'll jump in if needed.
Thank you, Mason. BT Mack Technology Group has been around now for a number of years, about 13, 14 years. We started supporting telephones, quickly realized that we were tired of the phones not working because of everybody's poor network. And as a result, we've become a full-service IT provider for small businesses. And we focus on providing enterprise-class solutions at small business prices.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's talk about technology. What do you think is essential technology, the different areas for truck stops?
The one thing that I think, as we've worked with different truck stops, that we've noticed is a lack of a centralized network or foundation to build from. Mm-hmm. Different products come up, your ordering system for your handhelds. You set up a little solution for that. Point of sale for the different retail partners. You set up a solution for that. And so this lack of a good foundation to build on is something that we've noticed is severely lacking and is greatly needed in the truck stop industry.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure Darren would agree that that sounds exactly right. You know, a lot of our members are one-man shows, right? So they're not sitting at a desk. They're out jumping behind the counter and putting out a fire at the fuel islands. And so they're probably not getting that holistic approach that you guys can bring.
Exactly. They're wearing many hats, and let's face it, IT is not an easy topic. It can be complex and confusing, and that's why we have the tagline where we help contain the complexity, is we look for business solutions through technology and not trying to sell you technology and hope that we have a solution for it.
Okay.
Larry, that's fantastic. It's fantastic you say that, because our members often avoid technology for those exact reasons you just said. It's too complicated. It's too confusing. I have to have this source, this source, this source. There's no one place where I can go to get my technology. So what you all do fits the bill perfectly for our members.
That's what we were happy to and hoping to hear. Is we like to have the one neck, one noose concept. If we can't get it right, we screwed up and we're sorry, but we'll fix it because we're taking care of everything.
Okay. I wanted to talk about Wi-Fi. What recommendations do you have for truck stops on their Wi-Fi systems?
Yeah, so, Wi-Fi today, it's become as expected as, any other utility, I think, in our arsenal, right? If your guests weren't expecting or demanding Wi-Fi from your truck stop or travel plaza before this pandemic, they certainly are going to now, right? So going back to that, the foundational network idea, right? What we see from a technical perspective time and time again is that many of the operators, many of our customers feel that if they can just increase their foundational internet speed, and then that's going to make it, solve all the Wi-Fi problems. Well, what they actually need to increase is not just that speed, aka capacity, but also the density of the Wi-Fi. So, in other words, I think we all have the same experiences maybe now at home. We all have a Wi-Fi access point. If we have young children or wives, brothers, sisters, etc., everybody's trying to access that same Wi-Fi. and it could really degrade your experience. Suddenly your Netflix is just loading and loading and loading all day, and that points to the density problem, right? So each access point can only sustain or can only enable good Wi-Fi connectivity for a certain number of devices. So you need to increase that number of access points throughout your travel plaza to ensure that as as a guest moves through your location, they don't lose connectivity to that Wi-Fi point. But as Larry mentioned earlier, we're not selling technology for technology's sake. We try to focus on a business value. One thing I think that a lot of operators out there might have not thought of or didn't know could be, even a new revenue stream for them, but is the idea of Wi-Fi marketing. So when you offer, a free Wi-Fi connectivity, free Wi-Fi network at your travel plaza, you more than likely you have the name of the network posted somewhere. You have the password as well. They log in and they have to go to a landing page, right? And that landing page is where the T's and C's of the Wi-Fi connectivity is. They have to click, I agree to these terms and conditions. I am not a robot. And then, they have access to your internet. Well, what we've done with many of our customers is actually turn that landing page into an additional source of revenue. You can actually market, you can put advertisements there for your vendors, for your retail partners, offer discounts. So it's just an additional way to show that your customers, right, that you care for them, that you're listening, and that you're trying to offer the optimal services that you can at your location.
Okay. I know security is a big issue for our industry. What should truck stops look for when deciding on a security system?
Yeah, the security issue is certainly something that we hear about time and time again. And unfortunately, the cyber criminals and the thieves out there are really taking an advantage of this pandemic opportunity. So there's really two aspects to this that we come in and help our operators with, and that's both the cyber security aspect and the physical security aspect. So from a cyber security perspective, right, you got to go back to that foundational network that Larry was mentioning earlier. Mm-hmm. You have to protect that network first and foremost. You need to protect it with really best of breed, updated today's firewalls. Stop me if these terms need to be described a little bit deeper, but a firewall to protect that network, and then cybersecurity software that we have a lot of experience with that can detect breaches, viruses, malware, ransomware attacks, but detect those before they even hit your network. Now, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of software vendors out there that have created software that can do this or claim to do these types of capabilities. And getting back to the tagline of containing the complexity, we have gone through the ringer with each of them. So we've done our research, we've gone through the sales pitches, we've dug through the technology, applied it, tested it, and found the best of breed ones, those that deliver, again, those enterprise grade solutions at a small business price. So that's a cyber perspective, right? And then we can certainly help all the members out better understand that and install these programs for them. The physical surveillance, it's a little more nuanced, a little more difficult. Frequently we walk into many of our customers, travel plaza customers today, and they have very outdated camera systems, surveillance systems. Many times, some of them are broken. It's connected to an outdated recording system that's probably in a back office somewhere or underneath a desk or underneath a register. It's limited in the amount of data and the amount of time that it can actually save. So what we have recommended and what we're deploying in most of our customer sites today is a cloud-based surveillance camera solution. So that really removes a lot of the on-site responsibility or maintenance that would be required of the operator there. You think again of those one-man shop wearing multiple hats. This just removes that additional headache for the operator, being that the cameras are installed, but you don't have to worry about where it's being stored. You don't have to worry about how you're going to access it because you'll have a single pane of glass, meaning from your iPhone, from your tablet, your mobile device, your computer, you will be able to see every view of every camera And then there's some very sophisticated artificial intelligence capabilities that are available. These are not cheap. I'm going to be honest about that. But when you look at some of the problems relative to card skimming scams, right, or that fraudulent service technician that dresses up as he's wearing the right uniform. He comes in to do some maintenance on a terminal, but what he's really doing is installing, a scamming or a card reader,
skimming,
skimming device,
mm-hmm.
and then he'll come back a couple months later and remove it, replace it with the original one, and nobody will really know for months until that data has been sold on the black market and the identities have been stolen. So what's enabled now through some of these advanced cloud surveillance solutions is artificial intelligence that will be able to determine that individual should not be here right now. That badge on that uniform does not match any of the badges of the approved vendors that we've identified already for our truck stop. Or this service tech does not have the same face or the same weight or the same height as any of the previous service techs. So there's a lot of very advanced capabilities that are coming out relative to this to really help predict and prevent when these types of scam artists are approaching your pumps.
Darren, I feel like you must have so many questions. Sorry, I got a little excited.
No, he's doing a great job. No, he's doing a great job explaining it. So I'm actually learning quite a bit right now.
This is so up his alley.
And what Mason, but again, going back to more than one function for these devices with the security cameras, we actually have some that can detect the length of a line, and you can calculate how long the wait is. So instead of just hoping that you have enough registers open, you only have one register open and the line's wrapped around through the C-store, we can actually give you a notification that you need to open up more registers.
What?
So do more than
that's amazing.
Yeah, this artificial intelligence stuff, big brother-ish, big data, if you will, it can be scary if applied to the wrong places, but it can also be extremely valuable when used correctly. So we've again, done the research, applied it to locations that need it, and have found tremendous value in these capabilities.
I've got a quick comment is, this stuff is so fascinating. And earlier, I was just quiet listening. I do believe this is stuff that's going to maybe take baby food, feeding, for lack of better words, like small spoonfuls, because it sounds like it's a significant amount of information for people to kind of wrap their minds around.
It is. You're right. And there is that, you have to crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run. The crawling beginning of this, if you call that the baby food stage, right, Darren, would be when you're feeding the model, you're feeding the artificial intelligence that food, right? That food is teaching your system really, this is how our truck stop or our travel plaza functions daily. This is the norm, right? This is what we're expecting. This is the typical traffic in, people in. These are the vendors that we approve to come on site. These are the merchants we do business with, right? So as it's learning from that baby food and it's slowly learning to crawl, and now it's walking. So, once it's walking around, it says, okay, I know now how the truck stop operates, how this operates. But then as it starts to grow up and run, then it starts to detect, wait, that person has never been here before. It doesn't fit the model of anything I've seen before. It's not on the vendors list. It's not on the approved merchant list. Send an alert. Right? Notify boss, notify the police. There's so many different options and configurations that you can do with this stuff. It truly is amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah, just to touch on one more thing is, a lot of our members often avoid the technology piece, not because they are stupid or, they don't have the funds to do it. It's stuff they just don't understand. And a lot of folks don't properly explain how these types of things can really help them, improve their profitability or improve the customer experience. So they just avoid it. And a lot of them often think it's more challenging than it's worth. It's kind of, I liken it to changing a light bulb on your car. You think it's a really, really difficult thing. You take it in, but in reality, it's not that difficult. It's not something to be frightened about. It's more something to embrace. And so again, as I've shared with you before, I'm very excited that you're in this space because our members need this type of stuff significantly to help them improve their profitability.
And Darren, you're not unique in truck stop operators are not unique in that. We find that in all of our customers and all the industries that we serve. And the thing that I think differentiates BT Mack from our competition is we do take the time to understand your business needs, and then we don't try to just overwhelm you. We do feed it to you where it makes sense, as it makes sense. So we start out with a good foundation, and then from there, we can really do all kinds of things. And quite frankly, a lot of our ideas come from our customers who now start thinking, what if? Because they've never had that option to think about those options. And so now that you have options, what do they come up with? And by having us work with multiple operators, we can share those ideas with others and just build the industry as a whole as we go along.
Speaking of, I know you have a forecourt communication solution. Can you tell me about that?
Right. Now, this is something we're very excited about, and it's really a product and service that was born out of necessity. Right. Here we are in the pandemic, and we see, the unfortunate stories of restaurants closing and of food courts closing within these travel plazas, people losing their jobs. The good food that our drivers love so much to get a warm meal gone, these types of stories. So what we did is we went and really shopped around to all of our vendors, all of our manufacturers, and what we were able to come up with was this advanced forecourt communication system. And what it is, it's as turnkey as we can make it, meaning that we have, the video camera systems that we will ship to you, or we will come and install if you need us to, of course. But we've tried to make this easy enough that any maybe facilities manager or maintenance person that some of these operators may have on staff could potentially install on their own. But again, it'll be a video camera that we're installing at the pump. And we all know it takes, sometimes 30, 40 minutes to fill, a rig tank. So while they're there, they can actually be ordering from this service. So imagine you're a driver, you pull up, you start fueling your tank, and then you decide, I need to take a shower while I'm here. I'd also like to have a steak and potato dinner, and I think I might need to go see a mechanic. So what I can do is, while I'm filling my tank, hit the call button on this video phone, and it takes them to an automated call tree, if you will, right? So, welcome to Wings Over America, press 1 for the fuel desk, press 2 for Taco John's, Chester Fried Chicken, what have you, press 3 if you'd like to reserve a shower, and on and on and on. And these are all customizable. The operators get to choose, of course, what services, what products they want to offer through this call box. But it was just, it's the quickest and easiest way that we could deliver that immediate value to our operator customers to make sure that they're not losing all of that revenue stream from the food and beverage, service section of their business, and also to make sure that they're keeping those employees, staffed and they're working for them, because a lot of our operators, family owned and operated businesses, and it's just heartbreaking to see some of them go through the pains that they have been. So we're doing everything we can to make sure they stay open.
I think that.
The other thing that it does, just real quick, is there's probably a number of locations where their intercoms out to the pumps are not working anymore. This replaces and solves that problem as well. So basically, it's a communication not only to the fuel desk, though, but to every retail partner and location in the center. So it's a one-to-many type communication.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think what's so cool about it is it's like simple, right? But
yeah, that was the goal. Make this, and to Darren's point earlier, right? Our industry from an IT perspective has really failed the layman, right? The just kind of normal American, right? I didn't understand any of this before I started in this industry. So what I really try, and what we at BT Mac try very hard to do, is to make sure that we're speaking in terms that you comprehend and understand, and we deliver technology that is easy to wrap your head around. And if it's not easy to wrap your head around, then we're going to maintain it and manage it for you, to make sure that it's functioning the way that it should.
Okay. What's next? What do you guys think when you're looking at your crystal ball? What is coming next for technology in the industry?
Yeah. Larry, what do you think?
We've, especially for truck stops, one of the things we've noticed is, of course, the majority of them are out in rural America.
Right.
And that's great. They're serving a vital need. We've now, as a nation, have recognized the importance that truck stops play in keeping our economy rolling. And we've seen other industries that are not in rural America that are rapidly moving to cloud-based services. They're economical. They survive. Business continuity, lower cost, better services. It just makes sense to move to the cloud, but that requires a good internet connection, if not multiple internet connections. And rural America is not readily available having good internet. The governments, federal and local governments, have for many years subsidized internet for schools, for hospitals, for other first responders. And we think that maybe it's time we start looking at ways to do the same thing for truck stops. We're now starting to see states in their Department of Transportation's installing free Wi-Fi at rest stops. Well, if I could get free Wi-Fi for the same safety reasons at a nice truck stop with beautiful, clean bathrooms and a chance to get some decent food, not just a vending machine, I know where I'm going to pull over to take my break and to do what I need to do. Mm-hmm. We have some good ideas that we'd like to maybe talk about in a future session on ways we could help subsidize rather quickly and implement where there are some assistance to truck stops to provide that public safety feature that also just enhances the truck stops operational capabilities in general.
Larry, that's a fantastic comment, because during any type of national security issue like tornadoes, hurricanes, as you're fully aware of, truck stops in particular play a very vital role in keeping that equipment moving to the impacted areas and so forth. So I definitely think that's a conversation that the industry NATSO should be having with you folks. That makes a lot of great sense to me.
Yeah, and then of course once we've got the internet in place, everything is going to be based off of a good internet connection. So once we have that in place, whatever the future holds, the operators will be ready. They can easily adapt to it. Who knows what's coming? We all know what the autonomous vehicles are coming. How are those going to get fueled? All those things are going to require some sort of integration with networking and being connected. And if you're not connected, you're going to be left out.
Okay, awesome. This has been so good. All right, I'm going to hit you guys with some fun questions that are a big surprise.
All right.
They're easy though. Okay, what's your favorite on the road snack? We'll do Larry then Mason. So favorite on the road snack.
It's just not a trip if I don't have Bit of Honeys.
Oh.
And my wife is coconut dream cookies. The Keebler ones. And also Samoas from Girl Scouts when you can get them. You those to be on the road.
How about you, Mason?
I'm a pork rind man. I love my chicharrones.
Okay. Do you like to ride or drive?
Drive. Yes.
Not to drive, so we always get drive. Okay. How about if you're stuck in a truck stop in a snowstorm, how do you pass the time? Larry, Mason.
I would be surfing, and I'm always working. My wife complains if my phone's on, I'm working, and so most likely I'd be doing some sort of work, either with cell data or whatever Wi-Fi was available.
How about you, Mason?
Yeah, I can vouch for Larry. That's very true about him. So more than likely, I'd be stuck in a snowstorm with my family. I've got 2 young boys, so I would be doing everything I can to keep happy wife, happy life, right? As sane as possible. Maybe we'd be outside playing in the snow. But definitely, if we can find that great Wi-Fi, I would be as much Netflix or Disney Plus as I can.
Exactly. All right, two more. How do you like your truck stop coffee?
I love mine. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest here. I typically do a 50-50 split where I really like the automatic cappuccino machines. And if they have the higher energy cappuccino, I'm definitely doing that one. So I'll do 50% of that and then just a nice Colombian dark roast on top of that.
How about you, Larry?
I'm not a coffee drinker. If it's a hot drink, I'll do an herbal tea. I prefer sodas, colas.
Okay, and the last one is controversial. Do you think it's Truck Stop, Travel Plaza, or Travel Center? I know. It's a.
I guess how many showers do they have?
Right.
I've heard this on previous podcasts, Amy, and can we just defer to the can we say no comment? I abstain.
All right, we'll take it.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. Before I exit this off, why don't you tell people how they can get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, of course, at btmactechgroup.com. You can give us a call directly at our toll-free number, 877-9-BT-MAC, or send us an email if you want to reach out, info@btmac.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Truck Stops Here. You can find us online at thetruckstopshere.show. You can listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher. If you have any questions, we hope you'll reach out to editor@natso.com. Goodbye.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by Natso, the association representing truck stops and travel centers. Visit natso.com for more information. The Truck Stops Here is produced by Natso in collaboration with Human Factor. Producers are Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.